Hello guys, today we're talking about how to fuck the system. Okay, so what's the system? Well, we all know what's the system, right? The system we live in, the banking system, the education system, the money system, the governments. A lot of people talk about it. There's rich people who have everything and there's poor people who have nothing. There's wars. We cannot fix this thing. There's inflation. There's so many problems. Everybody wants to change for good, but nobody really has the guts to do it. So in this video I'm going to explain how to change the system yourself, how to escape the system yourself in daily life, not just in a hypothetical 10 years down the line, today, tomorrow, right now. So, but first of all, let's take a step back. In case you don't think there is a system or you think there is a system but it's a fair system, it's a just system, there is justice and not, well, then you should relax a minute and hear me out and look at this video. Well, and think about the Epstein files, right? But forget about the Epstein file. Before Epstein, we had this guy coming out in 2017. So he is a Dutch banker named Ronald Bernard. And in 2017, he comes out with some stunning, not so stunning to me, but some incredible revelations about how the Satanic world is connected to the banking system. So what's his story? He was working, so this is the full video, not the full video, it's the first part of the first interview that he had, which became kind of viral. You see, 8 years ago, almost 4,000 views, 400,000 views. He talks about how, you know, in the previous part he's telling about his life, that he had a bad family, so kind of abused, and then but he grew, so he grew kind of detached from emotional involvements and stuff, but he was smart, he could view a lot of things in the same time. He had, you know, was kind of a visionary, and that's why he ranked up in the world of first entrepreneurship. He was an entrepreneur, and then he started going into finance because people said, hey, in finance is where you make the real money. So he went into finance, and then but when he went into finance and banking, they told him, you have to freeze your consciousness, you have to freeze your morality, you have to put it in the freezer. And he kind of took it lightly, yeah, whatever. And then so he explains his career and what he was doing and the money laundering and all of that, the banking system. But the real point here I'm making is that then as he ranks up, he hikes, he goes up into his career, he gets invited into basically satanic parties, right? And that's what he has to say about it. So he says, you know, I was a guest in those circles and it amused me greatly to see all those naked women and all these other things.
Dingetjes die daar speelden. Hè? Het was het vrije leven.
It was a good life.
Maar er kwam
but then at some point I was invited to participate in sacrifices.
Toen werd ik dus uitgenodigd, daarom vertel ik dit ook, om mee te gaan doen aan offers.
So he was invited.
In het buitenland.
So yeah, he was invited to sacrifice. That's his reaction.
Dat was het breekpunt. Kinderen.
Oké. Dat werd je gevraagd?
Ja, ik kon het niet.
So yeah, basically he realized, okay, this is not just some, you know, at the beginning he was not religious, so he didn't believe, you know, he was just taking it as a party, you know, satanic party, yeah, drugs and women and like that. But then at a certain point he was invited into his child sacrifice. And so that's where he kind of broke. That was the breaking point for him. And now he starts kind of crawling back and trying to get out from this world. But now he's so much in the inner circle that he has some problem and they kind of torture him. And then They hurt him so bad he goes into a coma basically. He goes into a near-death experience. He says he died and he came back, but that's not the point. The point is he came out of that world, and now like 20 years later he's coming out and telling us the story. Okay, so this is about the 90s actually, but he's telling it in 2017 because of course these people did a lot of pressure on him to shut up and just move on. But then he came out anyway, and he told us 9 years ago. Why I picked him and not just all the other stories about child sacrifice and banking and how these things are related, it's because he actually went on and he explained, and you have to check part 2, the whole problem with power and money, and why the problem is money. Right? It's not so difficult to understand, right? We all work for money. We all pay for money. We all get things paying with money. So money moves the world around. And if the people who control the money are evil, the whole system is evil. Because according to him, and he's an insider, that's how the system works. So you have it's kind of a pyramid of power. You have people, and all living beings on the lower part. Government are controlling people, but the government, we all know by now, are controlled by corporations, not the other way around. Yeah, of course the government makes the law, the corporation should abide to the law, but really the government plays by the big corporation, right? ExxonMobil, Pfizer, all these pharma and oil, and big food, big pharma, big oil, and they themselves, they put their money in the banks, right? And the banks, they take money from the central banks. And the central banks are controlled by the policies, and they take loans from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank. So you have International Central Bank, IMF, World Bank. And above that, even above that, you have the Bank of International Settlements, which is in Switzerland, Basel, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, basically, and then on top of this, according to him, you have 8,000 people, or a very small number of people who control all of this thing through blackmailing, through these satanic rings, and child sacrifice, child abuse, minor abuse, blackmail, and all, trafficking, and this kind of thing makes it so that there is a pyramid that goes all down to us. And even if we are we have good intentions, we behave properly, we donate to poor people, still there are wars that constantly get funded, endless wars, and there are laws that makes no sense, right? So now we have other examples of that, right? Just, look at the banking system connections to Jeffrey Epstein, right? You had JP Morgan Chase, where he worked and did a lot of things there. JP Morgan Chase is the biggest bank in America. Then you have the biggest bank in Europe, or in Germany, Deutsche Bank. He worked there. And you have Bernsteins. He also had money in BNP Paribas. So, also in France. So banks are on the side of these guys, right? And they do all those bad things, even if we don't want them to do, right? And there's more, right? Just Google the satanic ties to this banking cartel. There's so many things. Hidden satanic global power structure, satanic control, chapter the Rothschild banking dynasty. And again, if you still think the Rothschild are just not existing, you should go back to the tweet, my Patreon post talking about that. And Jeffrey Epstein email clearly proved, and Leslie Wexner testimony clearly proved that the Rothschild are still out there operating with the banking system and everything. So now we need a change, right? We need a change because of this. because of this, we cannot use banks anymore. We cannot trust anybody who's in power. But how to do it, right? Where you should put your money, how you should put your money. And it's not just about money, right? It's about voting. It's about cell phones, communication, the internet, and all these kind of things. So, number one, it's money, right? First of all, we need decentralized money. And that's where Bitcoin comes in. But you already know about that. So let's just skip Bitcoin for today. And Monero too, right? Monero is basically Bitcoin, but private, right? So decentralized money, it's number one. But you already know about that. So let's just skip it because that's so easy, right? That's the biggest part of it, decentralized money and using it. So let's maybe talk about it, right? Shall we? Let's maybe talk about how you can use, because it's not just about buying Bitcoin and keeping in your bank, on your app, on your phone, where you make money, you lose money. That's not how you get free, because they can still freeze your bank account, they can still confiscate your phone. So you need to use it, right? How to use it? Oh, but I live in Italy, I live in the US, I live in India. They don't accept Bitcoin for payment. Well, you can use this. Check it out. Bitrefill. So you have gift cards that you can buy with crypto, not just Bitcoin. You can use crypto to buy, like, these are all for fuel, this is for shopping, this is for train, these are grocery store, food delivery, restaurant, this is for travel, like if you wanna book a flight. This is grocery, this is toys, this is Spotify, grocery, books, clothing, all sorts of things, cosmetics. You want to buy your skin cream, your scrub, or whatever with crypto. You can do it. You want to buy your sneakers with Bitcoin. Oh, but Foot Locker and Nike do not accept Bitcoin. You can buy a gift card with Bitcoin and then use the gift card. H&M, Italy, whatever, Roblox, Redcare. There's so many more. Like, you see, Twitch, DAZN. You can even buy DAZN, bro. Oh, but I don't care. I just look at football. Yeah, you can buy DAZN with crypto, bro. Leagues of Legends, Trony. You want to buy a washing machine with Bitcoin? You can use it. You can do it. You can buy everything. Literally everything you can buy with Bitcoin. Xbox, Expert, shoes, Roadhouse. You can even buy Tinder subscription, right? Everything you can buy with Bitcoin and crypto. So there's no excuses. But what if... and this is another website, by the way. You see there's other kind of things. You want to go to theater. You want to go to the movie theater to watch a movie. You can buy with crypto. Oh, but what about cars? I want to buy a car. I cannot buy a car with Bitcoin. You're wrong. Look at this. All of these you can buy with Bitcoin. Well, these are kind of luxury cars. Not so much luxury, but yeah, you can buy all these kind of cars with Bitcoin. Oh, these are already sold. This is another website. Toyota. You want to buy a Toyota Yaris? This is not luxury, bro. You want to buy a Toyota Yaris? Yes, here you have 0.73 BTC. Okay. Look, Porsche. You want to buy a Porsche with Bitcoin? You can buy a Porsche with Bitcoin. You want to buy an Audi with Bitcoin? Wait, what the hell? This must be wrong. 0 Bitcoin to buy this? Everything. Let's check another example first. You want to buy Alfa Romeo Stelvio, or it's just 1.9 BTC. You can do that right now. You can actually use even just a cheap house, bro, a cheap car, Ford Fiesta 2022, 0.3 BTC. You can do that right now, today. So that's already one. Money, use decentralized money. Remember, you don't want to use the banks that allow this guy to operate. Oh, but I'm using Intesa Sanpaolo. Bro, do you think Intesa Sanpaolo didn't let Jeffrey Epstein do all these things? Do you think Intesa Sanpaolo or Rabobank or any bank that you use, you think they don't have connection to these guys? And anyway, even if they don't have direct connection with Epstein or with this other bad guy or this other bad guy, they're still part of the system. Don't forget about it. They have to respect the laws of the central bank. The central bank has to respect the law of the IMF and the World Bank, and they have to respect the laws of the Bank of International Settlement, which is on Swiss territory and has full authority to do whatever they want. Okay, so use decentralized money, not just buy it. This decentralized money, not just buy it, but use it to buy cars, to buy houses. You can buy houses in Montenegro, Panama, Bahrain, Portugal, France, Thailand, Montenegro, United Arab Emirates, France, Bahrain, Mexico, Cyprus, Bahrain, Dubai. You can buy actually houses with crypto, not only cars, not only like everything. Money here. But now there's a further step, which is there's WhatsApp, there's social media, there is gaming, there is investing, there is phone calls, all these kind of things, which are still kind of ruled by this system because, right, like if you take Vodafone or if you are talking about cell phones or if you're talking about gaming and anything you're talking, WhatsApp he's kind of in this kind of structure, right? So you need to use alternatives to that, and that's why they started to do this, right? So that's why they started to build Web 3.0. So now, what is Web 3.0? First of all, what was Web 2.0 and what was Web 1.0, right? So Web 1.0 refers to the first stage of the World Wide Web evolution. So basically this is, from the 90s to the early 2000s, where you have the old internet that none of us really saw because we are too young, but you have static page and content is served from the server file system. It's less interaction between the users and the server, and it's basically the important thing is that it only provides a one-way publishing medium. So it's not like designed for social media, for interaction, for large flows of data, right? And it's not so centralized because everybody's setting up their own website, right? And you can visit the website, but it's not so centralized. Web 2.0 instead was super centralized. Why? Because what we want to achieve with Web 2.0, it's stuff like blogging, podcasting, social network, social media, web content, and stuff like that. So to do that, and the cloud, a lot of basically dynamic content, information flows. So a lot of information has to go through, and you cannot rely anymore on a simple network of computers. You need like these giant servers facilitating the thing. And so you have stuff like AWS, Amazon, Facebook servers, and Google, and all sorts of that thing, which makes it so that the internet is working super fast, but it's super centralized. So anything that you used on the internet, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever you are using, it's Amazon, Netflix, anything goes on to a centralized platform. And so that centralized platform, being a company, has to respect this financial elite power control, right? So you need something which is decentralized, and that's where Web 3.0 comes in, right? So Web 3.0 is using distributed ledger technology, which is basically blockchain, for decentralized tamper-proof storage and transactions, right? So instead of having Facebook server, Amazon server, Google servers that centralize all the information, use WhatsApp, if you use WhatsApp, it goes in California or wherever there are the Facebook server, and then it goes back to the receiver. So it's centralized back to them. And the same thing if you're buying from Amazon or if you're using Google, if you make a research, it goes to Google server. So all these kind of things, or cloud service, right? If you're using Apple, the same thing. So this thing instead is using stuff like Ethereum, stuff like Solana, so that it's a decentralized network, and now you can build applications on top of it, like WhatsApp, like social media, like YouTube, like all of that thing, but in a decentralized way. And so now you cannot, it's outside the control of this pyramid, right? So what are the tools? Number one, of course, the old one is Ethereum, on which you have all sorts of applications. So Ethereum is kind of, I would say, old in this sense, but it has a lot of applications, like financial application, which you can borrow, trade, social application, so you have like social networks, privacy applications, collectibles, gaming, but to be honest, the real deal here is Solana. Okay, so Solana, they built like decentralized messaging apps, decentralized anything basically, lending, trading, all of that, and they even built a phone, because you can still use like decentralized application, but if you're using it on an iPhone or on an Android with a Google account or with an Apple account, then you're still falling trap of this pyramid. And as soon as you do something wrong, they come after you. They block your Apple account, they block your Android, your Google account, and you cannot use your phone. In an instant, you cannot use your phone, right? Instead, if you use like this type of phone, you see, then it's kind of different. So if you use like this phone instead, it should be, at least, I'm not saying it fully is, but it should be decentralized, because it has its own operating system which runs on decentralized platforms on a blockchain, which should be censorship resistant. And so maybe it's not perfect, but it's the most similar thing that we have to decentralization. Okay, so check it out. This is a full phone where it has an operating system which is basically an Android type, but you don't need a Google account to use it. You need a Solana wallet, and Solana wallet is a wallet on a blockchain which is decentralized and has like I think 4,000 nodes, 10,000 nodes, 4,000 nodes, thousands of nodes all across the world. So it should be decentralized. That's just the actual hardware, right? Then you have like, okay, but what if I even buy these, but then I have to make a connectivity plan, and I have to have Vodafone or Verizon or whatever is in your country. You need like a connectivity plan with a company that it's mostly like a national company, or anyway a big corporation that eventually ends up being here, right? Like, what's the point of having these if I have to call somebody, I still get through these ranks, right? So that's why the crypto people, they built Helium. And Helium, it's basically a network of decentralized, again, it's a network, so it's decentralized, of kind of antennas that provides cell phone connectivity. So instead of having TIM in Italy and, you know, Verizon, AT&T, Vodafone putting antennas everywhere to provide connectivity, you have just normal people, okay, wait, this is actually not, but you could see that basically, you know, in each place there is, like, for example, San Antonio 2000, and then Arizona 7,000, Los Angeles 12,000, Utah 1.4 thousand, Colorado, Denver, Colorado 2,000, Washington 500. You know, everywhere you can see that there are different nodes. There's different people with these small antennas creating a network, cell phone network, connectivity network that is decentralized. Like this, each and every node, it's a different person, most probably. Okay, maybe there is somebody who has more nodes, but it's not a central entity, and they get paid in crypto for the electricity, not too much, that they use to power that antenna, right? This, each and every one of these is one antenna, okay? And you can see it's not just the US, it's Europe as well. Here it is, okay, so this is the helium coverage. Look at it. Look at how big it is. Now it's lagging. Well, it's lagging. Anyway, there's coverage everywhere, and you see, Helium Mobile dedicated 5G smartphone service. Now it's not available yet in Europe, but it's already available in the United States and part of Mexico. It will come to Europe one day, actually. Oh, actually you can through their international roaming features. So actually you already can. So you just need to set up, you know, you go on your phone, you use a SIM, an eSIM, and then you pay, basically, you know, see, you connect to Helium Mobile instead of Vodafone, instead of Ziggo or AT&T, TIM, whatever you're using it right now, Fastweb, I don't know. You can use Helium, which is a decentralized platform, okay? So that's how connectivity works. You don't need to use a centralized system for your calls. You just use Helium, okay? And it's not that much. I mean, it's regular plans, you know. 1 gigabyte of data is $15, okay? And this is international roaming, by the way, okay? Does it work in Italy? Oh, actually, you can, yeah, through this international data, okay? Everywhere you are in the world, you can use Helium app, Helium connectivity services. So this was connectivity. Let's go to the next one. So the next one is messaging. So you don't want to use WhatsApp. Well, there are applications on the Solana phone. So you can communicate through the blockchain in a lot of ways, okay? So for example, if you're using the Solana phone, or no, you don't even have the Solana phone, forget about it. You just have a Solana wallet, which is free. You can use on any mobile phone. Then you can use SolChat, SolX, Cherry.fan, Key, but this is a bit more geeky. SolChat is easy peasy. And just, I mean, Google to know how to do that. I don't have to explain it myself. But then there are other ones more like Crypto OG, which are like matrix.org, Matrix basically, open network, decentralized communication. You can check out how it works. And then you have BitChat. BitChat is more like the OG version, original gangster version. And it operates over Bluetooth mesh network. No internet required, no servers required, no phone numbers. So that's crazy, bro. right? That's actually crazy. You can use it without internet, without cell phone. Wow, only through Bluetooth. I mean, it won't maybe be as effective as having a 5G connection, but I guess it's gonna work anyway. So this was messaging. Why don't you want to use WhatsApp? Of course, because it's all stored in their server and they can read everything you say. Even if you say, oh, this chat is encrypted. Yeah, it's encrypted unless the police comes and asks Facebook to decrypt everything that it's inside, and then they can do it, right? It's very simple. So next one we have file storage, right? You have photos on your phone that you never want to get deleted, and you don't have an hardware like let me just show you, like this one. This one is 1 tera of memory, and you can put like a lot of photo in this one, and but it's gonna cost you like, I don't know, 100 200 euro or something. So that's gonna cost you, and it's physical. It's not on the internet. You cannot download it. If you forget it and if you lose it, it's gone. This is gone. It's not a cloud server. It's not a cloud memory system, right? It's not a cloud archive. For cloud archive, you need stuff like Google Cloud, right? If you are using an Android phone, you store everything you have, not only your photos, personal, private photos, but your passwords, your emails, everything is there. And Google can just, with a click, see everything you are sending and your photos. Oh, but I have nothing to hide. They can also see your passwords and get your money. So if you do something against your government or something that this pyramid of satanic people are using, these satanic people are running the pyramid. Don't forget about it, okay? So, yeah, I'm just good using Google Cloud because I have nothing to hide. Well, okay. Then they're going to introduce, unrealized capital gain tax in your country. They are going to introduce carbon tax in your country. They're going to introduce, everything. If you don't do the vaccine, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, we are going to take away your money. And we can do it. And we can see that you're not approving our government because we read your emails. And right, so you need to use the system. So don't use Google Cloud. The same is true for Amazon Cloud Storage. And the same thing is true for iCloud. Oh, I use an Apple. Everything I have, it's on my iCloud. Of course, I use iCloud myself, bro. What should I do? If you have an iPhone, you have to use iCloud. There's no other option, If you have an Android, you have to use Google Cloud. It's not like there's many options. But what I'm saying is, at least for the valuable stuff that you want to store, like, your passwords or like stuff that anyway you want to keep stored for a long time, you can use a decentralized tool, which again, in this case, is Filecoin. You can visit filecoin.io. And Filecoin is a decentralized storage network designed to store humanity's most important information. And you have other ones, by the way, Arweave, if I am not wrong. So this is the oldest one, but there are other decentralized systems. For small stuff, you could actually store it on Solana 2, on Ethereum 2, on Bitcoin 2. Unfortunately, you can also store files. But for large data, like a full video, like a movie or something, you need Filecoin. So you're gonna, provide story, build on Filecoin, store your data. Okay, you want to store your data? Store your data. And then you can watch the full video, how it works. You can upgrade. And how does it work? And you can see how it works, and you can see almost 2,000 clients served, 2.2 million terabytes stored. So this is 1 terabyte. So imagine 2.2 million of these. And there's a lot of pictures and videos in just one of these. So, people are actually using it, and you can see, and basically you just pay a little bit to get it stored. And it gets stored. 3,300 storage provider system. It's kind of like saying you have more than 3,000 nodes, right? And you can look it up on how it actually works, like cryptographically speaking, why they cannot delete your information, the whole mechanism on it. I'm not gonna go through it now because we're already in a long video. So next one we have investing, right? Oh, but I use eToro, I'm good. Oh, but I'm in Italy, I use Fineco, right? Oh, I trust Fineco, I'm just gonna use Fineco. Well, bro, if you're looking at this video because you realize that Fineco is just one little dot in this whole pyramid, and if you do something wrong, your Fineco account is gonna get seized and you're not gonna be able to invest, you're not gonna be able to get your money. Even just, if, let's say, your son, when you die and you have some money in Fineco and your son didn't do something good for the government and is, they're gonna freeze your account. Like, stuff like that happens every day. Just, it didn't happen to you yet. Or, you have unrealized capital gain tax and you don't want to pay that tax. Maybe you should use not Fineco, not eToro, not any bank, Allianz Bank, this bank, Intesa San Paolo, not those to invest, but you should use something like this. So this is the decentralized, a decentralized exchange, right? And it's not just about crypto, okay? You can trade, as you can see here. Let me just get it. You can trade crypto, right? All sorts of crypto, but not just crypto. You can also trade TradFi, so silver, USA market. You can trade gold. You can trade Nvidia. You can trade Tesla, EUR, natural gas, Intel, copper, Google, Amazon. All sorts of things. Microsoft, Meta, US Tech, Platinum. All sorts of things you can trade. Netflix, Oracle, oil. You want to trade oil, gold, whatever you want, platinum, SpaceX. Oh, wow, you have SpaceX already? Holy. I think I'm going to use this thing more often. I didn't know they had SpaceX. But anyway, you see, you can trade all sorts of things here. And to use these, you need no ID. No bank accounts, no facial recognition, no email. You need nothing except some crypto that you put on this wallet and you trade with it. Okay? Of course, if you lose the keys of your wallet, everything is gone. There's no like, hey, I lost my password. I mean, yeah, you can set up your password, of course, but there's no like, hey, I lost my password and my recovery phrase, and so, here's my ID, can you give me my money back? No, of course, you're gonna lose your money. But that's the same with Bitcoin, that's the same with all these other tools. Unless you use multiple keys and you give some keys to your mother, some keys to your bank, some keys to your, you shouldn't trust your bank. So, there's ways to decentralize the security of your wallet as well, so that you do not lose access to it. For example, use a 3-key system. You need at least 2 keys to open your wallet. You give, again, 1 key to the bank, 1 key to the mom, or to your wife, or to your son, and you keep 1 key yourself. So if they come after you, they cannot force you to open your wallet. If the bank betrays you, they just have 1 key. They cannot open your wallet. If your mom, or your wife, or your son betrays you, they cannot. You need at least 2 keys to open the wallet, and like that, basically, you made it so that you can recover your account, and you don't have security risks and all sort of that stuff. But the thing is, you can trade without giving your ID to anybody. You can trade without letting anybody have control over you. and Hyperliquid is one of them, but 141 decentralized exchange. Okay, there's Uniswap, 0x, InFutures, Jupiter, Slingshot, CoSwap, Radium, Propeller, Paraswap. There's so many. Okay, yeah, there's so many. Uniswap is the first one, then 0x as well. Jupiter is another. Uniswap is on Ethereum, Jupiter is on Solana. You see some are on Ethereum, some are on Solana, Ethereum, Solana, Ethereum, Tron, Ethereum, Solana, Ethereum, Solana, and so on and so forth. So basically, right, like this infrastructure, what is it? The Solana infrastructure and the Ethereum infrastructure are the most solid that they actually already nowadays are providing us with tools to use in daily life, whether you want to speak with somebody, call somebody, trade something, buy a house, buy a car, buy whatever you want, store files on the internet. There's already a solution. You just didn't know about it, and now you should start using it. And then you have social media. The last one is social media, right? We all use social media, and why not use a decentralized one? Well, of course, with social media is a bit different, because let's take like a messaging app. You don't care if the other guy it's not on the messaging app that you're talking to. He can just download the other messaging app, use it, and there's no problem in that. The same thing is for trading. You don't care if nobody else is using that thing, as long as you can use it. And all the other things that I showed, like there is not, network adoption is a thing, but it's not like you need other people to be on it to use it yourself, right? You can just use it yourself, and because the infrastructure, the technology is already there, and you can just use it. With social media, it's a bit different, right? Because like social media, what makes them so valuable is the fact that there are people on it, right? So like people use Instagram because there's a lot of people on it, not because they like Zuckerberg, not because they like Instagram, right? The same is true for TikTok and Snapchat. But anyway, so we need to kind of mass migrate to some decentralized media, some decentralized social media. So these are all the social media. There are 65 decentralized social media applications right now as of February 2026, and I'm sure this number is just going to go up. Farcaster, Lenster, Paragraph, Mirror, Blue Sky. Oh, Blue Sky is not, it's a scam. It's not really a scam, but it's full of leftists. And then, you see there's a lot of them. Memebook, Suku. I to be honest, I didn't know any of those except the Blue Sky and MetaChat, and to be honest, like I've never heard of most of these names. But what I do know is one that apparently is not on this list, which is the main one, which is Nostr. And this one, again, open source social protocol with a chance of working, right? There's not. I appreciate the honesty. They're not saying like, we are Facebook. They're saying we have a chance of working, because, to be honest, again, as I said before, like what makes social media valuable, social network valuable, is that a lot of people are on it. Otherwise, it's not really useful. But yeah, so like you can join Nostr and watch the presentation of how it works. And this is fully decentralized, right? So you need a secret key, a public key, you download your keys and you're gonna hide them. Of course, I'm not gonna use these keys because you just saw them. But yeah, you can look at the thing, look how it works, and it's just gonna look exactly like X. You see, this is how it actually looks, and it's basically like Twitter, right? It's exactly like Twitter, right? And this is a good one. You can post videos, you see, and you can post, you can put likes, comment, share, and yeah. So please, people, use these decentralized tools, okay? The last one we are going to talk about is decentralized, that's another one, kind of like social media. We need people on it to make it valuable, because if it's only me and a few other 1,000 people using it as a voting system, nobody's gonna care, right? But if we all use a decentralized tool, a decentralized voting system, then we can really have democracy, right? Like, imagine a tool where you vote every day, or every time a government decision comes up, and not just you vote the government, but you vote the laws, right? They pass a law every month. You can vote on the law, and you can do it real time, verifying your identity, and of course this cannot be anonymous, because voting needs to be verified, otherwise what's the point? So yeah, we should like build a decentralized voting application so that we can vote on anything, anytime, and then we could have something similar to democracy, which I don't think it's reachable anyway, but at least we're gonna try with the decentralized voting system. So thank you guys for listening to this, and again, let's go through what we just said. We have money, decentralized money, that's Bitcoin and that's Monero. And then we have decentralized software that it's on Ethereum and Solana and other blockchains, which makes it possible to have like decentralized applications, right? And decentralized applications are something like Nostr, which is social media, or something like decentralized trading. You can trade without anybody telling you when to trade and give me your ID. No, nothing like that. You can have decentralized file storage. You have decentralized communication. You also have decentralized cellular data, which is a very big revolution. And hopefully in the future we're gonna have decentralized voting systems. We already have them, we're just not using them. So yeah, remember, you can buy cars with crypto, you can buy houses with crypto, and you can buy anything with Bitcoin. You can buy oil, toys. So don't let people tell you that you need a bank and that crypto is never gonna work. Crypto is already working, you're just not using it. I am not using it enough, of course, so you're not using it at all. So please start educating yourself, and then we should get free from this system and actually fuck the system. So of course this was just an overview, and I suggest you delve more into this. I will make more video about specific products, specifically about the Solana phone, specifically about Helium, specifically about Filecoin, and the other major projects that makes it so that we can have an actual, decentralized way of living. And a lot of people say Web 3.0 is just a hoax. It's not really useful, but it is kind of useful, especially if you use it. So please, people, use it.